and he can't even get into the base. BeSt has a nice block into the choke of his main. So yeah, the scan just now coming up for Lomo, so he has nothing to deal with Dark Templar at the moment. This is a pretty smart switch from BeSt, but BeSt is probably going to have to try to go into the main or the natural or somewhere like that with his Dark Templar to really get the harassment. Oh, a mine being dragged into 2 Dark Templar. One of them does go down. So the strategy from BeSt might be fizzling out as we speak. The Arbiter Tribunal, very early Arbiters from BeSt. I've seen him go for the same kind of strategy a lot, usually not with very much success. So we'll see if he's finally found a way to make this build work.
Yeah, it seems that BeSt and BeSt both trying to do a similar versus Protoss strategy. Siege tanks be put down. Ballona just very close outside of BeSt strategy. There is a shuttle in place, so I assume there's Zealot bombs. Dragoons coming in way too close. Mines in position to protect those. BeSt he's going to be pushed up his own ramp. Well, a couple of vultures actually do manage to barely get by. They're not going to be able to get past those that pylon wall, though, while the Dragoons can. And Haya just pushing up north very heavily. There is that one shuttle in play for BeSt. And Haya's just apparently thinking of possibly sieging up a ridge. Lomo, bleh. Sorry, God. My brain's exploding. It's almost 1 a.m. over here. I apologize for that, people. Lomo. It's like a snack, but oh my God, BeSt is actually going to run in with Dragoons at the left side. He had a couple of Dragoons at the right side. He's going to get a full-on surround. Does have Zealot bombs in position as well. Tanks are all going to clear up. Dude, a crap load of Dragoons to mines there. Is going to barely manage to clean up. Still vultures in play. More vultures coming in to try to clean all these Dragoons up. Lomo, oh man, loses some forces, but manages to take a crap load of Dragoons down in the process. So he did sacrifice all those tanks, but takes out a huge amount of army. Still plants these mines down as he tries to push up there. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I'm going to see whether this gives him the time to put down a 3rd base and keep on pressuring BeSt here at this point. What the hell?
Uh-oh. Yes, 2 engineering base down for Lomo. I think he's going to switch to a Medic and Marine build. I see no other reason for 2 engineering base to be down here. If he does switch to a Medic and Marine build, this would be absolutely crazy play from Lomo. This could end up being a very crazy game. More mines being dragged into those Dragoons, and those vultures being so pesky here. If Lomo is thinking about transitioning into Medic Marines, I really don't think that's the best option in the world for him. The Arbiters are out right now, so this is going to just be a bizarre game. Maybe that was a misclick or something. Wow, I see no other reason other than Medic and Marine build that he would put down 2 engineering base like that. But we'll see what Lomo decides to do. He has a couple of factories here. He has a bunch of factories, and I don't see a lot of barracks coming down for him or anything. So it's hard to tell what's going on in Lomo's head at this point. We'll see soon enough. He's going to kick in a strategy soon enough, whatever that strategy may be. He's coming up with a ton of vultures. He's going to try to eventually surround all of the Dragoons and drag some mines into them. But the 2nd refinery coming down for Lomo. And we'll see what he's decided to do. He's putting down another command center. So, yeah, he's going to expand again here, get his macro up and running. And he has a bunch of mines all over the map. So it's going to take BeSt a long time to eventually push into Lomo's base. But yeah, BeSt does have observers in here, and yeah, Lomo is going to have to be mindful of that when he's going for these kind of attacks. He's trying to surround all these Dragoons, but some nice micro from BeSt there. He's been microing pretty sloppy at the beginning of this game, but looks like he's finally picking himself back up, feeling the heat of this match. He knows he can win this for his entire team. It could be the biggest game of his career if he wins this.
Could be quite awesome, Starport coming up now for Lomo, as he has a 3rd base ready at 9 o'clock, while BeSt puts down his 3rd at 3 o'clock. And Lomo actually floated his engineer. I saw him float 1 engineer bay away, so I'm wondering whether he just decided to go for an extra spotter building, possibly to spot for some drops or some such. Don't really know whether you really want to build an extra eBay just for that purpose, but I'm not really seeing why he's not getting any racks. I think at this point going for any sort of biomech build would be suicide, really. Not really helping him out much at all. He has all the standard he needs right now, really, so don't really know what the hell he's thinking at this point, but just getting a bunch of vultures into play. Yeah, just getting all these vultures up on this upper right side. Does have weapons 1 upgraded at this point, but just trying to go around, do harassment to the 3 o'clock base while Dragoons are being able to counter at this point. They have Arbor Tech to support them on the ground. Observers all over the place. Turrets have been pulled all over the place now by Lomo as well. So he needs to add some mines to that, and he'll have a pretty decent defensive perimeter to his bases to get anti-recall. Now actually going to get some vultures through at this right side. There are turrets and as well as zealots, but he does manage to, I don't really think he managed to accomplish too much. Killed a couple of probes, but he definitely would have wanted to do more, just not trying to sacrifice so many vultures. Starport and, wow, already a science facility coming up. So on 3 bases, he's going to be able to fairly safely get his science vessels out there. He's going to need those to EMP all those arbors that are going to be coming to play. Even more turrets being added in and mines. So he's definitely thinking a recall is coming in, and he's definitely defending. Also putting turrets just outside his natural expansion, getting a decently deep tank line. He's going to need a few more tanks in play. He's been using a lot of minerals for a lot of vultures, while BeSt meanwhile getting a base, I believe, at the 12 o'clock position. So he's also going to be macroing up 2 arbiters alongside a pretty large army on the field. We're going to see what he don't think he's going to be able to push in quite yet. He's going to need some high Templar to help him support this army. I honestly believe some Protoss tend to skimp on the high Templar, and I think that's a mistake. A couple of well-timed storms against large tank positioning really be able to do a lot. Well, Lomo now going to take his mineral only at the inside 7 o'clock. So at the moment, both players just getting their macro up, getting their forces done. Not too much damage done on either side, not really much harassment done on either side. So this game's just going to continue on until one of the players finally does manage to take one of the other players off guard. Now Dragoons coming in for BeSt, trying to prevent that base from coming up. They are definitely going to delay, but instantly going to be pushed back because of the Lord Vultures with mines coming into play. Huge army just moving down the middle around the move for BeSt as he tries to find an opening for him to get in through. He's not going to be able to recall into the main, though, at this point. He's way too heavily defended, in my opinion.
Yeah, Lomo has a beautiful defensive grid here. This is the point in the commentary when everyone floods the comments section like, Nuke is so stupid, he said he was going for medic and marines, I should be a commentator. If I had a monocle, it would have popped off in amazement. But yes, he went for the double engineering bay for a double scout. He's being so defensive right now. He's using those engineering bays just to make sure that BeSt can't move into his base without him knowing about it. And he's still going around getting some nice harassment of BeSt's base. And you know what? BeSt really isn't macroing up all that hard. He has 3 bases at this point. He's probably thinking about dropping his 4th down. But yeah, a lot of vultures out here for Lomo, so he's going to be able to rush by all these Dragoons and maybe get even more probe kills here. Boxer and ILV looking on with their monocles, just looking on in amazement. And Lomo's still coming down here. He's going to spot if BeSt is going for any more bases. I think he's using the vultures mostly as a scout at this point. BeSt is moving into this exposed base from Lomo. Lomo forced to lift his command center, a stasis of a couple of tanks there running through a huge minefield. One of those tanks actually shimmied aside. Oh, I'm stasis, but I'll still move. Whatever. That makes perfect sense, but Lomo coming in with even more of his troops, but he's being pounded by BeSt Dragoon count here, but he does have tanks on the high ground that's going to help him fend this off, but he does lose that base. He was not able to float that command center back in time, which will be unfortunate for his macro game, but fortunately for him, BeSt is not going heavy macro. Yeah, I think BeSt does have his 4th base, if I'm not mistaken, there in the middle, closer to the middle of the map, but he's coming down with some Dragoons just trying to fight off this huge force of vultures that Lomo is committing himself to. He's going mostly vultures here just to keep mines everywhere and make sure that BeSt can't move out without an observer. Yeah, BeSt does have a pretty huge force, but he's going to need to walk slowly with an observer throughout the entire map, and that's exactly what Lomo wants.
I thought BeSt was taking a base at the 12 o'clock, but he's actually taking his inside 1 o'clock mineral only, apparently. Lomo means, yeah, just pushing out, being very defensive. Has weapons too at this point, so he definitely just wants to keep upgrading his tanks. Doesn't have a second armory up from what I've seen. Has a bunch of idle SCVs, but meanwhile now apparently a recall coming in at the 9 o'clock base. There's an EMP that goes off on all those Dragoons, but I think the command center might actually be able to float away on SKT1 base. Just go good going, BeSt. Good going, yes, beautiful. Command center goes down while the vultures and tanks finally coming in to support, trying to finish this off. Almost lost 2 bases in quick succession. So BeSt pulling off beautiful there. ILV crapping going, that's my boy. I'm not a Terran player, but that's my boy right there.